Alright guys, this is David Bruno with KT again, and we're working now to talk about the multicolor spells, or cards in Theros. And we're going to start off with Acronian Hoplite, or Acrian, however you pronounce it. So 1/2 red and white. Whenever it attacks, it gets plus X plus 0, or X is the number of attacking creatures you control. Seems fine. It goes into an aggressive strategy, so it depends on how many creatures you have in play, 2 or 3 guys. It's like it's attacking as a 2/2 or as a 3/3. It's anytime it's going to be attacking at least a 2/2 as it cuts itself. But every extra creature in play, it's a +1/+1/+0. So fine. Mana intensive, but for those aggressive strategies, it works fine.
This is really good with that hammer.
Yeah, it is good with a hammer.
And just multiples of this guy can also take over a game too.
Yeah,
You have
sure.
3 of these, you attack, and they all get +3. You attack and you add 9 power to the board when you attack with 3 of them.
Yeah.
It's very, very strong in multiples. Annex and Cymede. 3 mana, 3/2 with first strike, vigilant, and heroic, and it's also legendary. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Annex and Cymede, creatures you control get +1/+1 gain trample to end of turn. This is Leonidas and his wife.
Yep.
Very charisma. This one is this is the first of the heroic spoiled mechanics.
Yeah,
And
it's very good on its own.
Oh, yeah.
First Strike and Vigilant by itself is already dumb.
and if you have it with the leader that adds counters and just red white and just have the pump spells that target 2 creatures, that's just so powerful.
Right. Alright, now we have the new Angel Despair. It's called Ashen Rider. It costs 8. Costs
8.
1 more. Costs 1 more, but it's a 5/5 that when it enters the battlefield or dies, you exile target permanent. So you don't destroy, first off, so you exile any permanent, and when it comes to play and it dies, you get good value off of it. So those reanimator decks, decent little target.
Yeah, there's you remember that the emissary that lets you discard a creature card?
Yep.
Just discard it end of turn and also play the journey to the other world.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, funk.
Yep. That's fair.
And there's just so much. I'm so excited for that card. It's going to be so good. It's also going to take the place of Angel of Despair and sideboard cards against Show and Tell and Legacy.
Yep.
Because more value.
Yep.
Ashiok, Nightmare Weaver, 3-drop. This is the first of the Planeswalkers, or the second of Planeswalker. Ashiok, Nightmare Weaver, 3-drop. Starts out with 3 loyalty, so it kind of has that plus going for it. It has equal to its converted mana cost. And also it's a 3-drop, so it's a very early drop Planeswalker. +2, exile top 3 cards of your target opponent's library. That doesn't really do much outside of limited because there's not a lot of flashback stuff anyways.
I'll combat you in a second.
Okay, sure. We're just gonna have a pro and con for this one.
Alright.
Neg X. Put a creature with converted mana cost of X, exile with the ability onto the battlefield onto your control, and it's Nightmare in addition to its other types. And then Neg 10, exile all cards from the opponent's hand and graveyard. So, there's a lot of discussion about this card and whether or not it's playable or not. There's points for each one. I'm actually going to say it's a sideboard card. It's borderline playable, but it's sketchy.
You see, I was at the very beginning when I first looked at the cards thinking, this is actually pretty bad. But then, you don't really want to think of it as a Planeswalker with the -X and -10. You're just looking at it as the -2 ability in standard for control decks. Now, in the mirror match deck, you remember we had an affiliate around yard, and we got spoiled with it because you could play multiple copies of it in play and mill 3 cards at one time. But the fact that this one, it's a Planeswalker that is milling a few cards at the same your opponent. It's the target that your opponent has to take care of. If it does get high, they do have enough creatures in play, you can use -X and take one of their creatures. I'm fine with that. But the fact that you have exile top 3 cards, so you don't mill actually take 8 minutes. So it's kind of redundant a little bit here. You exile the top 3 cards, but then you take any creature from your opponent's exile. Okay, it costs X exile by her. Okay, I read it wrong. Okay. So I was right. All the cards that you're milling with this card, you have access to, and your opponent doesn't have access to. So the fact that you're playing a mirror match, you can mill their Aetherling. You can mill possibly, I don't know.
If you're playing against
There's,
reanimator, you can hit a lot of their stuff too.
I mean, there's some creatures we don't know we're going to see play. But the fact that if you're in a control matchup and you mill their Aetherling or you mill any of their key cards, you don't really want to exile Aetherling with his ability to go back to your opponent. But you get the kid still a big body in a mirror match. It can be decent. I don't like. I'm on the fences with it. I don't think it's going to see play, but I can see where it will be in a control deck as a one or two of, just to come control.
Yeah.
And it's a confusing card. Let's just say that.
And this is kind of like I make this reference a lot because it's like almost the exact same cost. This is like Jace with the ultimate, because you don't ever use Jace for his ultimate ability.
Who's Jace?
The Jace player in the original.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because you neg 10, mil 20. That doesn't really do much. This also doesn't do much whenever you are negative 10. Because usually whenever you get to the point of him having 10, usually you don't have the cards at that point.
See, this is the problem with me not reading the entire set. I knew the card existed, but I didn't realize how the ability worked. But I feel she still will see sometimes somebody will try to use her, and I can see where they're going to try to use her. It's going to be in a control deck, and it's really the only deck you'll have any applications for this card.
Yeah. Also, blue-black, there's a something for the set that lets you cast spells that your opponent, they exile with spells or abilities or whatever, and that you cast with whatever the ability is. It's a very interesting sub-mechanic.
Yeah. Okay. We got Allies Hoplites. It's a heroic 2/2 for white and blue. When you cast the target's spell that targets it, you put a 1/1 counter on it and scry 1. So it's the body that grows. Not big on it, but it's fine.
I like it a little bit because it's just because it has scry and also you get the counter. But other than that, there's not really much to go off of it.
Yeah, it's just a 2/2 really.
Now we have Chronicler of Heroes, a 3 mana 3/3 that when it enters battlefield, if you draw a card of your control creature with 1/1 counter on it. With a lot of monsters in the set, I actually will see. This is actually this is a really good card.
Yeah, I even could see it in standard, because in those decks that have unleashed creatures, even though they're in different colors, it's 9 colors. You've got Rakdos Cackler, you've got any guy that has unleashed or like the demolished creatures. You can play your draw cards. It's 3/3 body.
Well, you can also see we can also have some of the hero cards see play in standard, and we can get that have this trigger.
Like this current standard, I still probably play Centaur Healer over him, but at standard or next year he could replace it. So you don't know. We'll see down the line. Okay. But one of my favorite cards in the set, Daxus of Malas. It's a 2/2 for 3, legendary creature. Can't be blocked except creature with power of 3 or greater. So he has to run into something. Here's the kicker. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, exile a top card of that player's library. You gain life to discover a mana, which is the irrelevant part. But then in turn, you can cast that card with any mana and use your mana for any color. So you get to steal your card. If it's cheap, you get to use it against them. Really, really solid. Love this guy.
And also, if you if you're like if you're an expert, like you just played more with limited, you have a good practice of just attacking before you play any spells on your turn. So usually you want to save your mana, and if you like hit something that's relevant, you just go, all right, I'll just use your spell instead and not mine.
You should attack before you go to main. You shouldn't cast your spells unless you're using a removal spell to get through your main phase. This is usually you're using your spells in main phase too.
Yeah.
Usually.
So this card, it's really good, and also it helps you race if you need to.
Yep.
Let's see. Destructive Revelry, 2 mana, instant. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. It deals damage. 2 damage to that permanent controller. It's just another naturalized that has an upside.
Yeah, that's about it.
But it's pretty good.
Be playing standard.
One of my favorites is next.
Yeah, this next card, Fleece Mane Lion. It's a 3/3 for 2, so it's a Watch Wolf. It has the ability of monstrosity that when it becomes monstrous, it has hexproof and indestructible. So when you're telling your opponent on turn when you play this Fleece Mane Lion, you're like, okay, so
you have a turn.
You have a turn to kill him, or about to get beat down by this guy because he's never going anywhere.
Yeah, you can basically have a the Thrun. Basically.
Yeah, the 3/3 is relevant because that's where the lightning strike comes into play. So when they try to mock a monster, you shoot it down, so you time lock them. So that's where I like the lightning strike over Magna Jet. So like this example, because this guy will see play.
Oh yeah, he's definitely gonna see play. Next is another one of my favorite cards. 4 mana, 3/2 with flying, flash, and trample, and when you draw a card, you gain a life.
Seems cool. Getting life when you draw cards, it's cute and all, but just having flash, flying, and trample is kind of cute.
Well, this it's a win more card in the aspect of going. It also helps you race because you get to you flash it on their end turn, and you get to draw a card and you gain a life every time you draw a card. And also when you cast Sphinx's Revelation, you gain double the life.
Greedy bastard.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's a win more card.
Yeah. Kragmaw, Warcaller, 2/3 for 5. Mandatory creatures you control have haste, which is pretty good. It's another pseudo lord.
Yeah, this is a better one.
But when your Minotaurs you control attack, they +2/+0 to turn. And he's a Minotaur, but he gets himself +2/+0.
Yeah, it's not whenever another Minotaur attacks, it's whenever a Minotaur attacks. And if we have multiples in place, since he's uncommon.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good.
Just go, dunk.
+4/+0.
Next is another mythic rare that is gonna be a Timmy card. Madamai the Ageless. It's a 6 mana 4/4 flying. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, take an extra turn, and it can attack during extra turns.
And when I first saw this card, I thought this card was bonkers. But thinking about it, it's really slow, and if rolled a Doomblade, this card is really not that good.
This is like an EDH card where you want to play it with the Aurelia War Leader, and just have 2 attack phases, or just give it double strike or something.
Right.
That's about it.
Yeah, so I first thought it was going to be amazing, but I was looking at it in a nutshell. It's just, removal exists.
This is a limited, like, all-star. Like, if you ever open this in limited, you're just going to win.
Yeah, usually. Alright, for Rick's Mender, okay, the 4/3 for 5. When it enters the battlefield, you may return target creature and chain from your graveyard to your hand. That's your definition of a grave crawler right there.
Grave crawler?
That grave crawler. I mean, grave digger.
Yeah. This is so good.
Yeah, well, I know it's a 4/3 for 5, which is fine in the body. But returning a creature or enchantment, most likely a creature anyway.
This will make you play Junk Reanimator again. Because you can get your Voice of Resurgence back.
That's fun.
Yeah. Or you can sacrifice the guy to get this guy back, and then you just have a lot of. You can get 3 guys back instead of 2. There's just so many applications for it.
I like this next guy.
Polis Crusher, 4 mana 4/4 with trample and protection from enchantments, so you can't Descent the Sphere or chain them to the rocks. And also monstrous for 3 for 6 mana. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, if it's monstrous, you get to destroy an enchantment that player controls.
Here's the kicker with this guy: half the creatures in the set are enchantments.
So you get to attack through them.
Yep.
It's
and
so good.
He eat them when he attacks.
Yep.
So he's removal on a stick. Very good. But this next card is very, very good.
EDH.
EDH players will love it, and even some standard players may like this card. Prophet of Kuruvik.
With that Simic guy, Simic Manipulator, I think, or the 2/4 that when a creature into play gets. Master Biomancer. There you go.
2/3 for 5. You untap all creatures you control.
And lands.
Sorry, lands. During each player's upkeeps. You can cast creatures that really have flash. So, giving other creatures flash. So that's not that good. No, that's terrible. But
this lets you play your creatures and then have counter magic up.
Yeah, it's so insane. It's really good. I don't know how well it's played in standard because of removal and because of lightning strike and that stuff exists. But it's still a very solid card, and EDH players would eat this thing alive.
Yeah, there's just so many cards. Okay, Psychic Intrusion, the 5 mana. This is like this is an interesting card. Target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a non-land card from that player's graveyard or hand and exile it. You can cast that card for as long as it remains exiled, and you may spend mana as though it would mana of any color to cast that spell. See, that is also is like an Esper-esque kind of thing, where blue, white, and black have exile a certain thing, and then you get to cast it for any mana, no matter what it is.
The only problem is this one it costs 5, so The only time you're using this card is late game, and you're casting maybe to get a 4 or 5 mana spell, if at best.
Yeah,
So
but
I mean,
I like playing this card on turn 5 against control players because then they have to use their Sphinx's Revelation.
the card I'll run reprint like before I run this card, because reprint select is going to take it and all copies of the cards you take out of their hand from the game. So if they do Revelation in response, you get multiple targets with the card. You look at the hand. So if you're going to play against a card like that, I'd rather just reprint to like instant speed. And so that's why I'm not sold on this card. But
I like it.
we have this card is actually pushed, honestly. Reaper of the Wilds. It's a 4/5 for 4. Another Gorgon, so keep in mind. When another creature dies, you scry 1, which is pretty decent. You get free information off of death. You can pay 1 black, and it gains Death Touch, which is really relevant, which removal on stick. But the key part is you can pay 2 and give it Hexproof. So it can save itself, it can destroy creatures, and it gets value off of your opponent's, any creature dying. So it's got 3 benefits, and it's also a creature type where there's already creatures that when they destroy things, they can destroy all non-Gorgons, and this is a Gorgon on its own. And there's other Gorgons in standard, so I could see an actual deck where this could be very solid.
Yeah, I'm excited for this card. Also, this is going to go in that Junk Reanimator deck because you actually get extra information on the creatures you sacrifice, and you get to bring them back.
Yeah,
so
you that Reanimator deck.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I want to make it happen again. I'm excited. We have the tools for it. We have the technology. Next is Century of the Underworld. Now, my first deck I ever made was black and white because this is whenever Orzhov or whenever the original Ravnica set was out. So I'm always a big fan of black-white, and this guy is no pushover. He's a 5-mana 3/3 flying Vigilance, and you can pay 3 life and a white and a black, and you get to regenerate them.
Yeah, so the fact that he doesn't tap makes him pretty good.
He's good. I like him.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna be a limited card.
Yeah.
Shipwreck Singer. 1/2 for black and blue.
Here's your Siren.
Yeah. It's funny. Target creature upon control is attached to Siren Fable, so it's a learning Siren. But then you can tap. So its first ability is not a tap ability. Second ability is a tap ability, and then you can give that creature -1/-1. That's really good. So you force them to attack, and then you can shrink it. Seems really good. I like it.
Yep. Next card is a card I've seen a lot in the deck lists that when Theros comes out. This is a Rune Chanter's Pike with Flank and Trample for 3.
Yeah. Insane.
Yep, and it has 3 toughness too.
And it only costs 3.
Yeah.
Oh, and those red-blue control decks. This could be the finisher right here.
Yep. And speaking of red-blue control decks.
And this is actually one of my favorite cards in this set just because of the flavor. Steam Augury. It's Factor Fiction, but reversed. You reveal the top 5 cards in your library. You make a pile of, or make 2 piles. Your opponent chooses one of those piles. That pile puts in your hand, and your other one goes to your graveyard. So you can, when you see the 5, you can arrange cards how you want. Then your opponent has to choose their fate. So if you 5 spells, you can arrange it to where you get the exact spell you want, or you force them to give you card advantage. And just the fact that it's an instant speed, Factor Fiction after reversed, no matter your opponent choosing it, great card. Just value off.
Yeah.
Looked.
I've done a couple play testing with this card, and I've never been unhappy to play this card.
All right.
Yeah. Next is a card that I'm so confused about because I have no idea if it's good or not. Because you put a fate counter on target creature, exile the creature if it has a fate counter on it, and then return it to the battlefield under control, so you get to blink. Or you get to exile target creature that has a fate counter on it, and its owners draw 2 cards. So it can get rid of the enchantment gods, or it can get rid of like their win condition, like Obsidian. But you have to tap it, and it's such a weird thing.
Well, the problem is, though, all 3 abilities have the tap ability. So
Yeah,
you
that's...
have to wait the turn to put a counter on it, and then you have to use the other turn to exile it. See, I'm okay with... He's a 3/3/4 by himself, so he's the body can play at least. But he's there to get around Wrath effects. Like, the second ability is to get around Wrath. The third ability...
Well, the thing is, it doesn't really get around the Wrath effects because he can't put a fate counter on himself. So you lose him no matter what.
That's fair. That's true. Yeah, if you put it on him, he'd be amazing because you can target himself and draw 2 cards and do whatever. But
yeah,
he's just one of those random cards. That we'll see how it goes.
It can turn a token into 2 cards, so I can see it be okay.
Yep. And I
Wait,
really
hang on.
remember.
There's also flavor with this one.
Yeah.
This is actually the Triad of Fates. The card is actually based off of the 3 prophets that Hades uses to predict the future of whether or not he can rule the universe or not. If you look at the picture, none of them have eyes.
Yeah.
They actually have an eye, their own eye, which actually is an artifact later that we'll go through later in this set. That they use to predict the future for him. To see
Okay. Well, the next guy is something you referenced earlier about all the guys with a mask.
Yes.
You're going to explain this one, but the card tournament, the Murder Kings, is 2 for 2. You can pay 1 red and sack another creature, and it'll damage target player.
Or you can pay 2 and sack a creature and return him from the graveyard to your hand. So it's a creature that's ever recurring. That'll all back. And in fact, if I remember right, you told me these guys are the ones that come from the underworld, right?
Yes, these are guys that have broken free of the underworld in a revolt.
Yeah, that's why they had the mask.
Yeah. I don't know the story behind the mask itself because I don't remember reading it in mythology, but this is a sack outlet that can also save a guy.
Okay.
It gives you guys reach. So
Yeah.
now we have another Cerberus, which is the actual pet of Hades because he has 3 heads. Okay, this card's really good. 5 and a 6/6. Can't be blocked except by 3 more creatures. Cards and graveyards can't be the target of spells or abilities. And when it dies, exile it, and each player returns all creature cards from his graveyard to his hand.
It's the EDH card.
I like this card in aggressive decks because it's a 6/6 that can't be blocked except by 3 creatures or more.
Yeah, but I don't know. I like that there's better 5 drops, like Dragon, for example. And I'd rather play the Dragon in 5 drops than this guy. But I see him being good in EDH. It's just a nice big body. But forget him. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. Xenagos the Reveler. Probably one. I think it's the second best Planeswalker because I think Elspeth's the best.
Elspeth is better than this.
But this guy is amazing. He's a 4 mana, 3 loyalty. His first ability +1. Add X mana of any combination of red and or green, mana or X number of creatures you control. So those aggressive red green strategies, it's a mana remember. Or you can just leave his loyalty alone and get a 2/2 red green satyr creature token with haste on the battle. So you're getting a dude for free that gets hacked the turn it comes into play. Another good one, so he fights up that can defend him. It's -6. It's the top 7 cards in your library. You may put any of those number of creatures and or lands among them on the battlefield. So those big fatty creatures you're playing, you can put them in play for free. So his first 2 abilities are the 2 relevant ones. The third one's probably not going to be too relevant. Just the fact that he's a mana ramper is insane.
Yeah, and Xenagos is the Reveler is actually the mortal enemy of Heliod because he was actually banished from the plane of Theros, if I remember correctly. And then he got his Planeswalker Spark and came back for revenge, I think. If I remember correctly.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
Now we get to move on to the artifacts, and we have a flavor card, a crow and a horse. It's a 0/4 with defender that's cost 4 whenever it enters battlefield and the opponent gains control of it. Weird mechanic. At beginning of your upkeep, meaning the player that has control of it, each opponent puts a 1/1 token into play. Card's good, I think, in limited.
So how does it really work? I'm confused on how it's.
Okay, this card is the limited version of a Symbol of the Legion.
Yeah.
That gives your opponent a 0/4. Every turn you get a 1/1, and they have a 0/4 to block. But
the way I read it sounds like they're getting the 1/1.
no, yeah, you have to read that in tangent with the fact that an opponent gets it.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty good.
I think it's fine. I'd definitely play the Legion over it, but alright, Anvil Right Raptor, 2/1/4, flying first strike.
This is that 2030 card. It has evasion, but that's about all it has for it. We have Bronze Sable, they 2 mana 2/1. I don't know what a sable is, you'd think I would have read about it, but I think it's
a badger.
it's a honey badger.
Burnished Hearts, it's a 2/2 for 3. You can sack it and search your library for up to 2 basic lands and put them on the full taps and search your library.
This can be
very good card.
This is your ramp card.
This is a very good card, actually.
Yeah.
It's a easier to cast. What's the hell from Dark Ascension? You can search deck for basic land.
Dawn Shadow Elk.
Yeah, there you go. It's a better version of that because every deck can play it.
Also, this works well with that flash creature, the flash and untap your Seaboard Muse card.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because you get to untap your lands and then you get to play another elk and then you get to. It's gonna be good.
Yep. Flavor card.
This also can be a finisher in that ramp deck that I'm talking about, because we all need a 2020 with trample and indestructible. And so, Colossus of Akros is an 8-drop 10/10 defender and indestructible. You can pay 10 mana to give it 10 counters, and then it becomes monstrous. It gets trample, and it can attack as though it didn't have defender.
2020 indestructible.
This is actually a card I would play in sealed.
It's still yes, draft probably no.
No, unless you open like Zemaghost or something.
Yeah, ramp. It seems interesting. I like the flavor.
Yeah.
Flamecast Wheel costs 1. You have to pay 5 if that gets a damage to a creature. It's still a removal spell, but it costs 5. But it's a generic removal spell. So.
Yeah, and also it can be targeted.
Yeah, it gives green and white damage removal.
Yeah,
blue.
It's weird. Fleet Feather Sandals. This Chinook Creeper gets flying and haste for 2. Basically jumps the guy and it gives haste.
Yeah, but
I can see it played with all the monstrous creatures, but that's about it.
yeah, I mean it'll be played limited because you can drop a guy and pay 2 extra, give him flying, give evasion and haste and attack the turn with the play.
But I do like it that it's actually relevant to Cupid. Those are the feather shoes that he wears.
Right.
To give flight.
Yep. Alright, we got Gurney and Melita, the 0/6 for 3 defender. It's just wall.
Yep, that's all it is. Yeah. Now we have Opaline Unicorn, a 3 mana 1/2 that it's the mirror from New Phyrexia. At tap, add 1 mana of any color. It's another ramp dude that any deck can play, and also a mana fixer.
Yep.
So if you're not lucky enough to get that 0/3 with hexproof.
Yeah, it's a common mana fixture.
Yeah.
I love to get these limited. I love to get them in draft. It's like counter and seal domain.
They're good.
Alright, Prowler's Helm, it's 2-drop. The creature can be blocked up by walls. So it's basically unblockable.
Yeah, there's not a lot. There's not a lot of walls in the set. Pisces of Pandemonium. This is the Hell Vault of the set.
It's a horrible card.
Well, tap. Each player exiles the top card of his library face down. Pay 7. Each player turns face up cards, or turns face up all cards he owns, and then puts them all into play. All permanents into play. Card's awful because it doesn't do anything that benefits you.
Sounds like an EDH card.
This isn't even like an EDH card even because it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's rare, sadly.
Yeah.
We have a functional reprint. Traverse Amulet. Indestructible players. You know this card.
The card is another mana fixer, which we need because this looks like it's gonna be a 3-color set. Like you play 3 colors usually.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
Oh, well,
Okay. Witch's Eye. This is the reference to the Triad of Fate. Quit the creature, you have to quit this card for it to work, which is weird to me. It says pay 1 tap, scry 1. This card doesn't do anything because you have to tap the creature to scry.
Yeah. Well, we have to roll all the way down to get to these basic lands, but the first non-basic land we get to is one of my favorite cards in the set that I want flavor-wise.
Now pronounce the name.
Huh?
Pronounce the name.
Nixthos.
Nixthos. Shrine to
Nix. Or Shrine to Nix, excuse me. It's a legendary land. You can add 1 color spectrum maniple. You can pay 2 and choose a color, and it's a Cabal ritual for your devotion to the color of your choice. It's insane.
This makes me very excited to play monocolored decks, or just like a red green wrap deck. It's very good.
Right.
Especially,
like the card.
imagine running this with the Planeswalker from Dragon's Maze. Attacker permanent.
Yeah.
Alright.
Now you gotta roll
Yeah,
down against the other
yeah.
basic lands. And basically, they're all the same. They're
We'll just
temples.
go with the first one and then.
Yeah. They all come to play in taps when they come to play this Friday one. And they fix your color of the chosen color you have.
You have red
Right.
green, blue black, blue green, red white, and white black. Those are your 5.
So even when they come to play tap, the people that haven't, or people that complain about they're coming to play taps spoiled for mana being so good the last 4 or 5 years. There was a time in Magic where the standard mana wasn't good and lands came to play taps all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So people complaining about them coming to play tap is kind of
Useless.
bad. So even though it's a pseudo upgrade to a gate, I'd rather play gates in a Mazes in deck, and then if I play any other lands, it'd probably be easy if I'm playing these colors just to get enough +1s drawing. But that doesn't, I honestly don't think the Scry 1 justifies it being a rare.
Well, you forget that all the other mana fixing were that had possible upsides were
Yeah.
rares as well. Now we have the last card of the set review, Unknown Shores. We have another Shimmering Grotto. The very unexciting card to end the note on. I wish we had gone with Scrying Lands first.
Yeah, it's a mana fixer.
Yeah,
That's about it.
but we
You need
need mana fixing.
Yeah, if you need it, you play it, but if you don't need it, I wouldn't play it.
Yeah.
But
It's a good card. Alright, you guys, that was the last section of the Theros set review. This has been fun.
it's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been fun. Hopefully we'll be able to do something. We have our opinions too. We know we're wrong a lot of times too, but
Feel free to comment and tell us your opinion, and we'll
hopefully
either
we can do better next time.
yeah. Alright, this is Casey,
This is David.
and we'll see you guys later.